we can move to the next challenge, which is from food from precision fermentation and algae. And we have Ivan Stefanic, who is a program manager for food and agriculture. Ivan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Roman. Just to check, are we good with sound and video?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Let's talk about food from precision fermentation and algae. Work program is adopted, it's published, and everything is
Ivan,
written.
you're not sharing your presentation.
Yes, I know. I didn't come to that point.
Okay.
No problem. It is well defined, but I think the biggest strength of this event is actually to share the details. They didn't make a cut to a concise document such as work program. This session should help you to truly align your proposal with challenge, background, specific objective, and actually help you in preparing effective winning proposal. I'm start sharing my presentation. I would like to check, do you see it in presentation mode now?
Perfect.
Okay. So it is Accelerator Challenge. It is about single applicant SME proposing to develop competitive, deep tech, and disruptive solution. I'm not sure, did you attend the general session? Did you really go through the work program? So presentation is designed in the following way. It will give you most important details, emphasizing changes from past year, and could be almost as a standalone presentation. So we have 3 big programs: Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator. But bear in mind, we also have smaller programs, and those wheels are helping bigger wheels to spin faster and more efficient. Compared to the last year, we have some even new wheels. It is EIC Scaling Hub, which can help you to grow even later. So new programs. We have open and challenge calls. And it is important to notice we have new submission deadlines, especially for Accelerator applicants. Last year, we had 4 cutoff dates. This year, only 2. So bear in mind when you plan your submission. Then, the biggest novelty compared to Work Program 23, new challenges. You already learned there are 5 Pathfinders and 6 Accelerators, and 2 of them are actually very relevant for food and agri-tech sector. In particular, for you, that is food from precision fermentation and algae, with indicative budget of 50 million euros. We still have proactive management, the change. We will have new portfolios and improved proactive management. What we'll do in this, but saying that new portfolios, that doesn't mean that anything wrong with the old portfolios. Existing portfolios are working just like a Swiss watch. We even have a proof of people finalizing Pathfinder or legacy program, joining transition and developing their commercialization strategy. So it works well. Level of cooperation among those is high, and I guess the pleasure of being part of the portfolio is considerable. What we do with them, at least 3 levels: technological, regulatory, and exploitation. And I have to say, regulatory is pretty much important for food and agri-tech related projects, and I will explain that more in details later. Let's talk about food chain technologies and novel and sustainable food at the IC. This is the pilot phase a year before I joined the IC. We have low single-digit participation of agriculture and fishery and food and beverages projects. Early 22, I started preparing challenges for Work Program 23. We had 2 challenges in Work Program 23, and this table actually shows that we were able to raise some interest of possible applicants. Unfortunately, I cannot tell what are success rates in actual project because evaluation of the last cutoff date is still ongoing. But sometime soon, I'll be able to share that information with you. And I have to admit, we have some amazing proposals. And those projects, especially once combined into effective portfolio, really have capacity to change food and agri-tech food supply chain for better. There is a novelty, lump sum grants and Pathfinder challenges, transition and accelerator. So you should get to the recordings if you missed the general session and check how you prepare your proposal. Okay. This is the playground and topics we shall pay attention to and fix if we want it environmentally friendly, sustainable, profitable, and competitive agriculture. We took very strategic approach at the IC to food and agri-tech. In Work Program 23, we proposed Accelerator Challenge, Novel Technologies for Resilient Agriculture, and Precision Nutrition in Pathfinder program. In Work Program 24, Accelerator Challenge, Food from Precision Fermentation and Algae, and nature-inspired alternatives for food packaging and films for agriculture. If you don't fit to any of those, this is really not the problem because we still have open calls and you are welcome and invited to apply. And this decision, go for open or for challenge, is important. But it is not just putting a heavy makeup on your proposal and push it through challenge. It is much better if you align it properly with challenge prerequisites. Let me talk about challenges and background of those. So accelerators, resilient agriculture was designed to support mission soil. And it was early 22. Well, we just exiting the COVID crisis, the war in Ukraine broke up, and soil-based food production system was really troubled. So we designed challenge to support it. The other part, Pathfinder challenge, was totally different. It was designed to emphasize healthy aspect of nutrition, especially to prevent and alleviate consequences of food-related conditions and NCDs caused by inappropriate nutrition. In 24, the logic is different. We covered those 2 bases. So nature-inspired replacement materials was primarily designed to support mission ocean and reduce plastic pollution. But we have to be aware, plastic pollution in ocean is just part of the bigger picture. Plastic particles, especially at micro and nanoscale, are entering everything. They are entering our food supply chain, they are entering our body tissues, and they are serious problem, and we have to handle it from the very beginning by replacing plastic materials in the first place. So that's why we created Pathfinder Challenge. We will talk about Pathfinder Challenge in March, exactly on March 20th. So if you're interested in Pathfinder Challenge, join us then. And then food from precision fermentation and algae. It is specifically designed to support decoupling of food production from soils. It doesn't give us a space not to take care about soil-based production. And after all, this is about 95% of our food. We still have to work on healthy, sustainable, soil-based food production. But having in mind troubles with environmental uncertainty and degraded environment, we have to be very strategic and explore alternatives. And this is the rationale for this particular challenge, decoupling food from soil. And this is Accelerator, so single SME applicant. Principles. Principles are very simple, universal to all challenges I prepared. So it is holistic, it is life cycle approach, and to foster EU technological autonomy and leadership. Accounting for all strategic and relevant initiatives, such as Mission Soil, Mission Ocean, Green Deal for Farm to Fork, Fit for 55, and Repower EU actions. Let's talk about scope of the project. It is to support food from precision fermentation and algae that decouples food production from the soil and environment. It is consisting of two components. One, fermentation system based on bacteria, yeast, and fungi, and other, macro and microalgae. So we are working on novel aquaculture systems. And what is expected outcome and impact? To improve sustainability, efficiency, and resilience of European food supply chain through decoupling food production from soil, but also minimizing environmental impacts, including water pollution. Indicative budget, as I already told you, 50 million. Okay. You all know that EIC supports deep tech, radical innovations with disruptive effect on market, being capable of creating new markets or disrupting existing ones. So your proposals should go beyond state of the art. And there are some special requisites. They have to deliver energy and resource efficient, low emission production system, which are integral to a healthy diet. The solutions have to be scalable based on range of process parameters, such as, but not limited to, light, temperature, pressure, have to be customizable regarding final product, but also a range of operating environments, because Europe has such operational environments going from Scandinavia to Southern Europe, and should be very user-friendly when it comes to potential gains from shift to food from precision fermentation and algae. So having precision fermentation based on refined sugar and yeast, this is not deep tech. We are not expecting that you work with high quality, expensive ingredients. On the contrary, we would like to see side streams from agricultural production or even industrial wastes to be used in precision fermentation instead of high value crops. And then preferably if used for human consumption, but also that could be nutritional supplement, ingredient, or even animal feed. Definitely, innovations must ensure a closed circle production process to prevent the release of microorganisms or other contaminants through waste streams. And then, all projects must therefore provide life cycle assessment, taking into account environmental, social, and economic considerations. And then I have a couple examples why so, and I would propose how to deal with that. And definitely, a very important thing is to pay attention to regulatory aspect alongside issues surrounding customer acceptance, and articulate suitable strategies to support market entry within and beyond the EU. But let's take first example. This amazing molecule was first synthesized almost 150 years ago. And it was designed under supervision of Nobel Prize awardees in chemistry. So it was a powerful team there. But it goes even further. About a couple decades later, another scientist discovered high efficiency of this compound as a contact poison against several insects. And in 1939, it was awarded Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. So we are talking about Nobel Prize class of invention. And let me explain why so. Actually, Nobel Prize wasn't in chemistry, it was in physiology and medicine, and it was a couple decades later because it was extensively used and shown as extremely beneficial during the World War and post-war era, fighting typhus and malaria. And then having this very effective solution led us to extensive use in agriculture under dozens of brand names in dozens of thousands of tons each year, exceeding millions of tons applied over the time. But then sudden change. In the 70s, Hungary was the first to ban it, following by most of the countries. Let me give the title of this story. So this is the story of DDT. It's highly efficient, profitable, no questions asked about that, but then it has horrific environmental impact in the long run. The second example is almost worse. Thomas Midler Jr. was an amazing guy, a serial and awarded innovator, and one man in an environmental disaster at the same time. Many innovations, but I would emphasize only two today: leaded gasoline and freon gas. It was extremely efficient, no questions about that, but it took 30 years of global effort to reverse detrimental environmental impact. And by the way, fixing ozone layer is the only planetary boundary we successfully reverse. And then we are telling we would like to have environmental life cycle analysis from you, anticipating what might happen in a couple decades from now. How to actually address that? Yeah, there is possible solution. It seems that machine learning and AI component of your research could help you in anticipating the long-run environmental impact of your inventions. So your inventions are truly deep tech. And then it is not only about mimicking sensory properties of compounds you are producing. It is also to mimic functional property of those. So there is no secret. You could produce cocoa replacements or coffee replacements. They might taste almost the same, but they would not have functional properties of original. And then, as an EIC beneficiary, you should work on that and give a special attention to healthy and nutritional aspects. We also have to talk about regulatory aspects. And regulatory aspect has several layers in this particular challenge. So the first one is European regulation of novel food. You are probably fully aware that novel food in the European Union is defined as food source that wasn't consumed to a significant degree before May 15, 1977. And if is the case, you should pass the regulatory procedure with EFSA. But this is just one level. So registering novel foods is must have. But then you are deploying microorganisms. And legislative regulation of microorganisms, especially if they are genetically modified in European Union, is still ongoing. It's evolving. And for that reason, you should pay very special attention to this component of regulatory aspects, especially in a case if you have deliberate release of microorganisms. I don't know for what reason, but this is the toughest case, and you should pay attention to that. We shall not underestimate regulatory aspects, because many companies actually left the European Union for that reason. They find Singapore or US as a more friendly environment, so they moved on. Many companies settle for less. They could produce food, but due to the tough regulatory aspect, they settle for feed. They opt for producing animal-based components like proteins, and they could be human equivalent. But again, regulatory aspect is an issue. And for that reason, regulatory aspect is one of important assignments in portfolio, or in which case that would be food from precision, fermentation, and algae accelerator challenge portfolio. Let's go further. You possibly decided to apply. You are maybe considering reapplying after you got your first feedback. Let's address this. Why you really need EIC programs, why you should endure after first rejection, or why you should go for first application in such a competitive program. I'll give you 11 reasons. First, it's not grant. It's a state-of-the-art evaluation. You are getting feedback. In that case, you can learn from your rejection and improve your application. It is grant. An additional grant, smaller, but very important. So those goes up to 50K, and they could fix different aspects of your project while you develop it. It is equity financing if you opt for equity financing. And it is guidance and support by PMs. It is about visibility, promotion, and networking. It is about increased credibility with possible investors. And let's be serious. You had state-of-the-art evaluation. Your proposal is significantly de-risked. Now they could talk with serious entrepreneurs who have actually validated concept. We pay special attention to women innovators, and we are not offering just reapplication in the next cutoff date. In this year, you have right to 3 submissions. And possibly seal of excellence and fast track procedure, especially if you have national program, which is equivalent to Accelerator. And I would go even one step further. I will propose you 3 things to do. 1, decide to apply. It is challenge and invitation. And please do not procrastinate. Decide it today. Because if you decide today, you can plan nicely and even submit in first cutoff date. Bear in mind, being EIC beneficiary is not just career changing or business changing, it is life-changing project. So join us. Help us in making our mission come true. Second, who wants to be a billionaire? If you consider all those answers, in a strange way, they all might be true. But in the end, we know only one is correct one. It is just like aligning your challenge proposal with challenge prerequisites. So learn about it. We had general info day yesterday. We have challenge day today. We will have Pathfinder challenges, and we are at your disposal. Bear in mind, program managers are working mostly with beneficiaries, but you have extremely competent and extensive network on NCPs. So ask questions. Don't assume too much. Ask questions. But bear in mind one important thing. We are not at liberty to tell you how to structure your proposal. It doesn't work that way. That's your responsibility. And then most of the journeys are about destination. That's true. But before coming to destination, be sure to check one important thing. This is a general type technology readiness level scale. It has 3 phases: research, development, deployment. Bear in mind, it is a little bit different with us. So please assess your TRL level properly. I'm attending a lot of interviews, and in so many cases, I saw that misinterpreted. Technology readiness level was not assessed properly, which led to the situation applying to wrong program, and in the end, failure. Assessing this is crucial. Be sure your TRL level is appropriate for a given program. If you have trouble with that, get additional help, get external assistance. And then about destination. Yeah, it is about destination. You are just signing grant agreement, but enjoy the journey. It is a process that would definitely make you better entrepreneur. And I guess this is the time to start question and answer session. Back to you, Roman and Johannes.
Roman, you're muted.
You're right, I was muted. Thank you, Ivan. Let's move to the questions. Johannes, are there any?
Yes, indeed, Ivan. So the first one is from Einar, and it's not directly on the challenge that you just presented, but on the 2023 challenge, because Einar is interested in that. I read the question: is it possible that a challenge from 2023 will come back in 2025? I'm thinking of the novel technologies for resilient agriculture.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Let's see statistics. So far, we did not have a case of repeating challenges. So probability of having this challenge repeated is not so great. But please do not dismiss the idea, because you are still welcome to apply to open calls.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and then this question was asked during your presentation, so I assume that it refers to your challenge, Ivan. The question is, what to do if a certain innovation does not perfectly but only marginally fit into a challenge? Is it better to go for Accelerator Open?
Well, that's actually €2.5 million question. It's tough to answer it without knowing what is it all about. I could give one example not related to Accelerator Challenge. We have Precision Nutrition Challenge. It is designed to combine glycobiology, microbiome, and nutritional knowledge into one to create new compounds, new processes, new food. And then all three components are compulsory. It is possible to apply with developing a cookbook or shopping assistance. Application for assisting you in shopping for your food ingredients, taking into account of all of three components. So it is marginally there, but is not truly challenge proposal, because we are seeking for breakthrough in human nutrition, not just shopping assistance. And officially, I'm not against cookbooks and applications that assist us in shopping.
The next one is on your challenge itself, and I read the question. The focus of the challenge is therefore on innovative production process, not innovative products. Is it limited to that? Question mark.
When it comes to food from precision nutrition and algae, you could take several courses of action. You could develop new products, feedstuff, foods, working on microorganisms. But you could also work on hardware. Bear in mind, if you work on hardware, your business model would be most likely a different one, but could actually contribute to the development of the whole sector in a tremendous way. So working on processing plants, equipment, fine-tuning process is okay.
Okay, and then there's a question on examples. What is exactly in the scope of this challenge, precision fermentation?
Okay, the basic idea is to utilize very conventional and underutilized technologies, such as bacteria, yeast, fungi, and algae. You could go different ways with that. You can go for just a single component, protein, or something else. You could go to complete feeds. But bear in mind one thing, you are accelerator beneficiary. And conventional developers of foods, they have holy trinity of prerequisites to design new food. It should be tasty, convenient, and affordable. But taking that course might have detrimental effect to health benefits of consumers. We would like you to plug in additional set of variables. We would like you, aside of being tasty, convenient, affordable, but also profitable and competitive, we would like you to be environmentally friendly, sustainable, but also nutritious and healthy. It is not about mimicking sensory properties of your food or texture of the meat. It is about providing adequate nutrition with long-term benefits for your well-being.
Thank you. And the last one is a procedural question. I read the question regarding the comment about being able to apply already to the first cutoff. Is it possible considering the short application and its evaluation time frame?
I think Giovanni is here and he is absolutely the right person to address that.
Can you repeat the question because I missed it? 1 second.
Sure. This is regarding those who apply in the first cutoff, and whether it's possible to consider short application and evaluation time frame.
So you first cutoff of when? I mean, because of 2024, I suppose. Okay, the first cutoff will be in March. Normally, we try to you apply for the short proposal. That will be a possibility to apply every second week. We do our utmost to provide an answer, go or no go, within 6 weeks maximum, let's say, and then yes, the time to we have to consider the time to prepare the full proposal in case you have already started preparing it even better, and then yes, in theory there is time to make it for the first cutoff.
Okay, but I guess that
Perfect.
to make the cut, actually assume you would prepare simultaneously phase 2 application while waiting
I
on
will
the
say so because it's
step
very
1 application. If you just waited, it's not possible to.
I fully agree. Even I mean, we are in mid-January now, so I would assume that someone who's willing to, let's say, start this endeavor, yes, should do the two things in parallel.
Okay, but actually, let's comment on this. I know entrepreneurs are impatient. At various outreach events, they even said, "Oh, I could supply application tomorrow." I would advise patience. Don't compromise speed and quality. Prepare yourself better, because what we are expecting from you is fast and significant growth. So it is not just about getting innovation done. It is about preparing rapid commercialization, and that will put you on a lot of pressure during and after the project. So pay attention. I met projects, they didn't work on quality assurance, certification up to the last couple months of the project. So be aware you're a business. The ultimate judgment is not about jury members, remote evaluators. It is about your customers accepting the product and buying it continuously. So be registered, be certificate. Then also pay attention to quality assurance procedure and fast scale up.
If I may add a comment, coming back again to the impatience sometimes, especially in the case the application is rejected. We saw it now with 2 cutoffs per year, maybe is less relevant, but sometimes we had the impression that you should eventually, as an applicant, once you are rejected, act upon the negative, let's say, elements emerge from the evaluation and solve them. And sometimes we see that there's a rush to apply for the next available cutoff. I mean, this again was in the past. And there was no time to fix all these issues that the evaluators have identified. You cannot do it. I mean, sometimes there are certain improvements to the proposal which require, for instance, months, because, for instance, imagine the ownership structure of the company. For instance, if they tell you that there's something to be improved on that, to be revised, sometimes it takes months. So again, as Ivan said, don't rush, try to have your best application and apply with that one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Johannes,
There's one last question which just came in a second ago for Ivan. Microalgae application for nutraceuticals can require strong product development like clinical studies for claims. Is this in scope? Maybe quickly because of time.
Okay, that's important issue. And I said many companies settled for less instead of hitting the walls of regulatory aspects. So many will go for nutritional supplements, postponing this medical claims, clinical studies. Be aware you are the business. And definitely being a researcher is nice. Even negative result is result. When it comes to company, negative results usually meaning bankruptcy, loss of equity stake, and some serious complications. So be realistic. What you can really do in the scope of the project.
But it is allowed, Ivan?
Yeah, it is allowed.
Yeah. So if that is what is needed for your business, then
absolutely. And we will definitely
course you
give
can
our
take.
best We would definitely give our best to assist in the portfolio to sort out regulatory aspects as efficient, as fast as possible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ivan. I think, yes.
If, Ruben, we just wanted to come back to the question of applying to open or the challenge, because there was a question, if you are marginally touching upon the challenge, should you apply to the challenge or rather choose for the open? And there, of course, as Ivan said, it all depends on what is marginally. We don't know. We only have this abstract question. But what I would like to say, that you should look at the evaluation criteria. And if your marginal, which is marginal in the context of this, it does have a breakthrough character and it does have a high degree of novelty, and you can argue why, you know, this is important for the challenge that is defined, you should apply to the challenge, because it is still very relevant for the challenge, and you can do that. We will also have an open approach in the evaluation, and we will evaluate all the proposals that are submitted to the challenge. And only when, of course, it has nothing to do, if you want to do something on robotics in agriculture, you should, of course, not apply to this challenge. Those cases are very clear. So it all depends what the marginal is, but I would say look at the other evaluation criteria and imagine how your proposal or your company, your business model responds to that. Andreas, do you want to add to that?
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Yes, it's a big discussion, open and challenge. We discussed for the last 2 years how to differentiate, how to clarify. But I agree, and there are also some facts and some factual data, let's say, from the last evaluations in open and in challenge. We have seen in many challenges in the last cutoffs that the success rate is much higher than in open. Some of these challenges are those that are very strategic for Europe. So in these challenges, the success rate is higher than in open. The second point is that for each challenge, there is a budget, which is indicatively, but clearly associated to each challenge. So you have a clear view of a budget associated to this. If you go to the open, you will compete with any topic, and there is no differentiation of the topics in the open. So there is no challenge for topics in the open. There is budget for the whole open. And so these are facts. And of course, Europe, as you know, in Europe, there has been also this communication and decision of the Commission to support strategic technologies. And in those strategic technologies associated with those challenges, Commission is paying a lot of attention to let's say to detect the best proposals that would support these challenges and strategic technologies. So these are the reasons of clearly differentiating, and as Anne-Marie and the colleagues, program managers said, it depends on the case by case. If you are marginally out of the scope, if you are clearly out of the scope of the challenge, most of the challenges have many objectives. There is not only one. So if you address one or more of these objectives, you are automatically within the challenge. It is something that we will pay attention how we brief the evaluators for this on this issue, for this cutoff, but we will pay very much attention on this aspect. Not to penalize you if you go to the challenge and you are not 100% within the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andreas.
Rumen,
Yes.
I did not get question, but I would like to tackle 2 topics in addition. It is about experience from many cutoff dates and interviews. It appears that some applicants are quite hesitant when it comes to equity financing. We have to address that, and they actually should prepare themselves for that part of the interview. From our applicants is expected to grow fast, and usually they do that with equity investment in several rounds, not only during and immediately after the project, but continuously, because we are really eager to support global players, people that could actually affect food supply chain. For that reason, during the preparation, they should get consultancy and explore that option, because some of the participants not only reluctant, but technically refuse the equity financing, and they couldn't provide investment on their own. So this is clearly a big issue. And the second one, application procedure is straightforward, number of pages is limited, but there is one issue. When you read proposal, it's pretty much clear. Then you listen the pitch presentation, and it appears to be misaligned with the proposal. So please take care about that and reconcile what you present with things you wrote in the application. It could help you